Hello students, today's video is about participles. This is the second video in the non-finite verb series. I have already made a video on infinitives, and in that video I told you that non-finite verbs are forms of verbs that are used in sentences not as verbs. They are used as some other parts of speech. There are three kinds of non-finite verbs: infinitives, participles and gerunds. I have already made a video on infinitives, so this is the second video in that series. In this video I am going to tell you what participles are, what different kinds of participles are, what some common features of participles, and how they are used in sentences. I am also going to give you some examples where I will show you how you can use participles to transform or synthesize sentences. Besides that, I'm also going to leave links to some online worksheets where you can check your progress. So let's get to the lesson. So what are participles? Participles are basically verbal adjectives, means they are forms of verbs that are used as adjectives in sentences. There are three kinds of participles: present participles, past participles and perfect participles. What are present participles? Well, present participles are ing forms of verbs that are used as adjectives in sentences. For example, let us look at this sentence. He got his driving license. Here in this sentence, the main verb is got. It is the past form of the verb get. But besides this verb, there is another verb form used in this sentence, that is driving. It is the ing form of the verb drive, and it is used as an adjective here. The word driving is actually qualifying the noun license. So it is used as an adjective. As the ing form of a verb is used as an adjective here, it is our present participle. Another example. Hearing a noise, I went out. In this sentence, the main verb is went. It is the past form of the verb go. But besides this verb, there is another verb form used in this sentence, that is hearing. It is the ing form of the verb hear, and it is used as an adjective, that is qualifying the pronoun I. So it is a present participle. So what is a past participle? A past participle is the third form of a verb that is used as an adjective in a sentence. For example, what are you doing with that broken radio? In this sentence, the word broken is actually the third form of the verb break, but it is not used as a verb in this sentence. It is used as an adjective that is qualifying the noun radio. So it is a past participle. In the same manner, if I say, driven crazy by the students, the teacher left the room. In this sentence, the word driven is the third form of the verb drive, but it is not used as a verb in this sentence. Driven is used as an adjective that is qualifying the noun teacher. So it is a past participle. Now what is a perfect participle? A perfect participle is the combination of the present participle form of have verb and the past participle form of any verb that is used in a sentence to talk about a completed action. Like in the sentence, having finished his homework, he started to watch a movie. In this sentence, having finished is the example of a perfect participle that is used to talk about a completed action. In the same manner, having reached home, he started to take rest. In this sentence, having reached is the example of a perfect participle that is talking about a completed action. He is reaching home. Now let us talk about different features of participles. As I said, participles are verbal adjectives, so they have features of both verbs and adjectives. Like a verb, a participle can have a subject or an object. Like a verb, it can be modified by an adverb. Like an adjective, it can qualify a noun or a pronoun. And like an adjective, it can have different degrees. Like in the sentence, you look more tired today. Here tired is the past participle form of the verb tire used as an adjective in this sentence. But its comparative form has been used here, more tired. Now let us learn how participles are used in sentences. Participles are used in 4 different manners in English sentences. They are used attributively, they are used predicatively, they are used in participle phrases, and they are used in absolute phrases. First, attributively. When a participle is used attributively, it is written before a noun that it qualifies. Like the broken radio. Here broken is the past participle form of the verb break used as an adjective, and it is qualifying the noun radio, and in this case it is used attributively. How we know that? Because it is written before that noun. If I say driving license, here driving is the present participle form of the verb drive. It is qualifying the noun license, and it is written before that noun. When a participle is used predicatively, it is not used before the noun or the pronoun it qualifies. It is generally written as part of the predicate when it qualifies the subject of the sentence, or it can be used as objective complement after an object. Like in the sentence, you look tired. In this sentence, the word tired is a past participle. It qualifies the subject of this sentence, you, but it is not written before that. It is written after that as part of the predicate. In the same manner, if I say, he kept me waiting. Here waiting is a present participle that is qualifying the object me, and it is written after that. It is used as an objective complement. Now participles are used in participle phrases. A participle phrase is a phrase that starts with a participle. Participle phrases generally qualify the subject of a sentence. Like in the sentence, hearing a noise, he went out. In this sentence, hearing a noise is a participle phrase. It starts with a participle hearing in this case, and it qualifies the subject of the sentence, he. A participle can be used in an absolute phrase. What is an absolute phrase? It's a phrase that is separated from the main part of the sentence with a comma, and it does not start with a participle. Rather, the participle used in an absolute phrase takes a subject. Like in the sentence, the train having arrived, the passengers rushed to the exit. In this sentence, the train having arrived is an absolute phrase. Here the participle used is having arrived. It's a perfect participle, and it has taken a subject, the train. An absolute phrase qualifies an entire sentence. In this case, the train having arrived qualifies the rest of the sentence. The passengers rushed to the exit. Let us take another example. The weather being bad, we could not start our journey. In this sentence, the weather being bad is an absolute phrase. Here the participle is being, and it has taken a subject, the weather. The weather being bad, this absolute phrase is qualifying the rest of the sentence. We could not start our journey. Let us talk about some common differences between a present participle and a past participle. A present participle is often used to talk about a seemingly permanent quality of someone or something, and a past participle is used to talk about a temporary state of mind or being. Let me give you 2 sentences. He is boring and he is bored. Do these 2 sentences mean the same thing? Of course not. In the first sentence, he is boring. The word boring is a present participle. It is the ing form of the verb bore. Here it talks about quality of the person. He is boring means he is uninteresting. He bores you. He is the source of boredom for you. And when I say he is bored, here bored is a past participle. It is the third form of the verb bore, and it is used to talk about a temporary state of mind. The person is bored right now. He is not interested. But he may not remain so. After some times, he may find interest in something. Let us recapitulate what we have learned so far. Participles are verbal adjectives. There are three kinds of participles: present participles, past participles, and perfect participles. A present participle is the ing form of a verb used as an adjective. A past participle is the third form of a verb used as an adjective. And the perfect participle is the combination of the present participle form of have verb and the past participle form of any verb. A perfect participle talks about a completed action. As participles are verbal adjectives, they have qualities of both verbs and adjectives. Like a verb, a participle can have a subject or an object. Like a verb, it can be modified by an adverb. Like an adjective, it can qualify a noun or a pronoun. And like an adjective, it can have different degrees. A participle can be used in 4 different manners in a sentence. It can be used attributively, just before the noun it qualifies. It can be used predicatively. It will not be written before the noun or pronoun it qualifies. It will be written as part of the predicate when it qualifies the subject. Or it can be used as an objective complement after an object. A participle can be used in a participle phrase, and a participle can be used in an absolute phrase. We also have learned about some common differences between a present participle and a past participle. I have told you a present participle is used to talk about a person's or a thing's a seemingly permanent quality, and a past participle is used to talk about a temporary state of mind or being. Now let me show you how you can use participles to join or synthesize sentences and transform sentences. Let me give you 2 sentences first. He heard a noise, he went out. When you see such sentences with the same subject in them, you can easily join them using a participle phrase. In these 2 sentences, he heard a noise and he went out. The subject is he in both the cases, right? So in such cases, you have to figure out which of the 2 actions mentioned in the 2 sentences is taking place first. Did he hear the noise first or did he go out first? Of course, he heard the noise first. So that verb will be turned into a participle. Heard is the past form of the verb hear, and its participle form is hearing. So you can easily join these 2 sentences this way. Hearing a noise, comma, he went out. Hearing a noise is a participle phrase. It is used here to join these 2 sentences. Now let me give you another set of sentences. He got a gift from his father. He was happy. 2 sentences and the same subject, he, in both the sentences, right? Now 2 actions are taking place. He got a gift, got, and he was happy, was. Out of these 2 verbs, which one is taking place first? Of course, he got the gift first, then he was happy. So got will be turned into a participle. Got is the past form of the verb get, and its present participle form is getting. So you can easily join these 2 sentences this way. Getting a gift from his father, he was happy. In the same manner, a sentence can be transformed using a participle phrase as well. Like if I give you a sentence, I was tired so I took some rest. In this sentence, 2 verbs are there, was and took, and these 2 verbs have the same subject, I. Which of these 2 verbs is taking place first? Of course, I was tired first. That's why I took rest. So was will be turned into a participle. Was is a be verb. Its present participle form is being, B-E-I-N-G. So we can easily write this sentence to be, being tired, I took some rest. So a compound sentence is easily transformed into a simple sentence using a participle phrase. But what happens if the sentences provided have different subjects? Then we will use an absolute phrase to join the sentences. If I give you a set of sentences like this, the train was late, we were bored. Two sentences and two different subjects. In the first sentence, the verb is was and its subject is the train. In the second sentence, the verb is were and its subject is we. So which of these two actions is taking place first? The train was late, that was the condition, and that's why we were bored. So the first one will be turned into a participle, but we will have to use the participle in an absolute phrase. In an absolute phrase, a subject is placed before the participle. So we will write the train being late, comma, we were bored. Being is the participle form of the verb was is a be verb, its present participle form is being, and it has taken a subject, the train. So we have written the train being late, comma, we were bored. In the same manner, we can use an absolute phrase to transform a sentence. If you see in a complex or a compound sentence, the verbs have different subjects, you can use an absolute phrase to transform that sentence into a simple one. If I give you a sentence like this, as the movie was long and boring, we left the theater. In this sentence, the two verbs are was and left. The verb was has its subject to be the movie, and the verb left has its subject to be we. So two verbs and two different subjects. That's why we will use an absolute phrase to transform this sentence. We can easily write this sentence to be, the movie being long and boring, we left the theater. So the movie being long and boring is an absolute phrase. Here being is the present participle form of the verb was is a be verb, its present participle form is be plus ing being, and it has got a subject, the movie. So it's an absolute phrase. The movie being long and boring, comma, we left the theater. So the movie being long and boring, an absolute phrase is used to transform the sentence given, right? So this way you can easily synthesize or transform sentences using participle phrases or absolute phrases. There are other ways of using participles to join or transform sentences, but we will talk about that in another video if it is required. This is all for today. Thank you.